The Boys finale coming out tomorrow. I made a little wish list of things I hope we see in the finale. Just a list of some things I hope we do end up seeing in the finale. If you're a fan of TV and movies, consider subscribing to the channel. It would really help the channel grow. And with that out of the way, let's begin. The first thing I hope we see is Butcher killing Homelander. I know there's a good amount of people out there that want to see a Homelander winning ending, but I really hope we don't see that. With this rivalry being set up so much throughout the show, it only makes sense in my eyes that you end up having Butcher kill Homelander. And honestly, I'd be really disappointed if they did something where another character gets the final blow or Ryan gets the final blow. It really should be Butcher. And then I've also seen some people saying that Homelander should be depowered and have to live with that, but I think it just makes more sense to kill him as he's such an evil guy that he really shouldn't live for what he's done. Next, we've got Starlight killing The Deep. Obviously, a lot of people really love The Deep's character, but it just makes sense that Starlight gets revenge for what happened in Season 1 and honestly throughout the show and gets to kill him. And after seeing the trailer for the finale, it really looks like that's what we're going to end up getting. I've seen some people saying that she's going to throw him into the ocean and then the animals are going to end up killing him. I think that'd be a good way to end the character, as he doesn't really have a home at the end of the show. He gets betrayed by his own people, and it kind of shows that him betraying his own people throughout the show, just trying to be Homelander's right-hand man, ended up biting him in the butt. Next, I do hope we see Butcher die. I think it's only fitting for the character, as in Season 4, he was pretty much set up for death, and Season 5, that's kind of all he's been talking about, is after getting the virus out there, he's gonna die with it. Plus, if he ends up winning and defeating Homelander, his life is kind of purposeless. That's kind of all he's been doing for the last long time in his life, and the only way I really see him surviving and going off and living his life is he ends up raising Ryan, which, I mean, kinda makes sense, but I don't see that happening. So in my opinion, I think it only makes sense that both Homelander and Butcher end up dying, as they do have this rivalry and both going down would make sense. And I've seen some people speculate that Butcher ends up wanting to release the virus and killing all Supes, and it ends up being Huey or someone like that ends up killing him, which is definitely the comic route of it. I don't know if that's something I want to see necessarily, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad ending either. With the finale, probably going to be a lot of superheroes fighting and just a big fight, honestly. I hope we do see MM and Huey have some purpose in this. I think it'd be really easy for them to just kind of be thrown away to the side and not get much screen time and have nothing to do. So I hope there's a way they end up helping the fight. Maybe they can control some things from far away. I don't know what them helping ends up looking like if it is superheroes fighting. I've seen some people saying they take V1, which I really hope they don't do, but I just hope the writers find a way to get them involved in the finale and not just have them be these throwaway characters to the side. Next, I really hope we do get to see Ryan have a moment to shine. We saw him in the trailer for the finale, so we know he's going to be in it. And throughout the show, we have built up Ryan to be the next big character, the next Homelander, and he really hasn't had any moments to just show what he's capable of. Even this season, we just saw him get beat up by his dad. So I do hope we get to see him join the fight. Maybe he fights Homelander in some way, helping Butcher. Maybe he takes out Father or something like that. I just hope we see him impact the story somehow, as how he was set up, he really hasn't impacted the story in the past season that much. As in Seasons 2 and 3, he was a very important character. He didn't get much screen time, but he was like a big factor in this, and then Season 5, he's really just disappeared. So I hope they didn't just build up this character for him to end up being nothing in the finale. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to see this, as they kind of want to see this ending where it's Homelander winning and everyone else kind of dying, but I do hope we see the boys get a happy ending. I hope we see Starlight and Huey start a family together. I hope we see MM go return to his family, and I hope we see Kimiko end up doing what she talked about she wanted to do, get a dog and kids, and obviously Frenchie isn't around, but maybe she can live with Huey and Starlight. I just hope towards the end we see some flash forward where we get to see all these characters end up living the lives they wanted to have. I'm a big fan of just happy endings, that the characters you want to see win end up winning, so I do hope we see this. Kind of in the same vein, similar to this, I hope we see Butcher get his grave next to Becca's. I think it'd be a sweet moment if we saw some funeral scene where all the boys and Ryan are at his funeral and it shows he's right by Becca's grave. I just think that'd be a really sweet and wholesome moment that wouldn't take too much screen time, but would be pretty impactful in my eyes. Next, I do hope we see some setup to the next show. I hope it isn't overwhelming in the finale, like this whole season was kind of a setup for Vought Rising. I hope we do see some setup in this finale, and I hope that doesn't overpower this finale. I hope it isn't taking too much screen time of it, but just something setting up, whether that's The Boys in Mexico, Vought Rising, or some other thing down the road. Like I've kind of mentioned this, but maybe a Ryan and Kimiko team up kind of show. Like, I think it would make a lot of sense to have a show where Kimiko is leading the next generation of Supes, where she's leading Ryan and the Gen V characters and end up being good guys. I also hope we don't end up seeing Soldier Boy in this finale. I think Miko getting his powers, which is kind of, you know, the whole point of last episode, adding him into the finale would really defeat the purpose of that. And then if they just brought him back, it'd be like, what was the point of last episode? Plus, he's already in his little tube thing, and him getting let out of it would just be another flip-flop from him this season, so I hope we don't see him. So I do hope we see some setup for something like that. And the last thing I hope we see is some sort of montage in the credits that just pays homage to the series as a whole, similar to what they did for Deadpool and Wolverine, where it shows bloopers and scenes from the old Fox or Sony X-Men, I can't remember, but the old scenes from those and bloopers, and it was just a really heartfelt moment for the people that were big fans of those. So I hope we do see something like that where fans can be like, I was a part of all this, and they get like this kind of emotional ending that isn't ending the story, but they get to reflect back on what they got to be a part of. This is something small that doesn't take much effort that I wish more franchises did, as it kind of shows appreciation to the fans. Like, I think you get a lot of fans tearing up in a moment like this. You'd get the people that have seen the show from the beginning that kind of just see, oh, it's finally over. So I think just showing the fans a little behind the scenes look and some bloopers with some sad reminiscent music would just be a great emotional moment that, I mean, obviously this has been one of the biggest TV shows in recent TV, and I think just giving the fans something like that would be a really sweet gesture. So there you go, that's what I hope we end up seeing in the finale. Comment things you hope we see. I'd love to hear some of your guys' opinions, and then just hopefully this finale hits. I mean, obviously a good finale doesn't make up for what this season has been as a whole, but it can kind of soften that blow and give the fans something to look back on and be like, okay, the finale wasn't that bad. But other than that, just if you like the video, make sure to leave a like. If you're a fan of TV shows and movies, we post about this here, so consider subscribing, take a look at the channel. It would mean a lot, and I'll see you next time.